Hey, how's it going? This is Matthew Ashens, my week 4 review for Java 2. We got a bunch of apps to go through, so let's go ahead and get started. So I went ahead and I'm starting off with the continuation of the multiple activities where we had to implement some action bar stuff. So as you can see, we got my app here running. You see you got the action bar now, where it has the ability to either save or show. So if we show the beer list, these are all the things that I have saved currently to the file. And as you can see, you can go ahead and do a long click to either delete or share now. So we delete, see now it went ahead and deleted. As you can see here in the rubric, that's what you needed to. Action bar, properly utilized for the new and save primary actions. And then contextual action bar here is to go ahead and delete the item from the list, and then also to share it. You can see we can add new beer, brings me back to the beer list. And if we go ahead and add a new beer, let's just do Bud Light, Budweiser. Typing's not the greatest, pretty low. Bought it from, let's just say bought it from the store. As you can see, saved a beer list. And now we have Bud Light added. Yeah, so that's that project. Like I said, that's utilizing the action bar and the contextual action bar. And again, press and hold, either delete or share, delete. So now we go ahead and go into the case studies. So I'm first going to lower that one, go to the first case study here, and that's going to be the baseball one. So let's go ahead and run this. Give it a second here. The baseball one was definitely the easiest out of all of them to implement. And as you can see, we have I went ahead and used the spinner control for this one. And the reason for that is because it suggests using, for anything that has similar data, this is really the best one to do it. So as you can see, we can go ahead and select the Yankees, and the roster changes. Rays, roster changes. Angels, rosters changes. Cardinals, and so forth. Said you can select the different ones, which is exactly what the case study needed. You needed to be able to display 6 different teams, and then the rosters of 9 players for each of those 6 teams. And this one, like I said, very simple. I just have one single roster here that basically initiates, creates a different object for each of the teams, different case depending on which integer it is in the position from the scroll. And yeah, like I said, fairly simple. Here's the main one, and here's where we select which ones are going to be in the adapter for the spinner, and then based on which one you select, it then returns the individual one. And here's the team object for that. So that is it for the baseball case study number 1. The second case study is going to be the weather. And this was my hardest one that I had to do here. But for this one, I utilized the tabbed option with the swipe. And so basically when it first starts off, the very first screen is going to be utilizing the weather. I'm going to show that here. Basically we have a weather one where it requests the API call, sets everything to it, as you can see here. And I basically have a JSON parser that parses everything. And I have 3 different JSON parsers, one for the weather, one for the hour, and then one for the week for each different activity. So if you swipe over, blocked it there. Here's the weather forecast by the hour, and I have it in a list where it generates the hour, what the kind of overall description of the weather is, and then the temperature. And then for the last screen here, this is going to be for the week-long forecast. Again, Friday, Friday night, Saturday, and then the description of what it's going to be. And you can sit there and swipe between those 3 different views. The reason I use the swipe control for this one is because that's what it recommends for anything that has 3 or less. You should use this swipe controller. Again, I have a different object for every single one for either the current, hour, or week. And then for here, for the hour again, it basically calls everything and then, oh, sorry, that's the adapter for the individual list to get everything. So for the, close that. Oh, sorry, here's hourly. So now again, we have an API call, and then it sets everything to the adapter. Again, pretty standard between all three, using different list views and everything. Again, everything is in fragments. As you can see here, got a bunch of different things for the objects and then the individual thing based on what you select. And we can actually go back to the weather one. I'm sorry, to the My Activity, because this is where it actually selects based on your position which one to show. Either 0, 1, or 2, and either weather, hourly, or weekly. And I have a refresh button on every one to go ahead and update that. So that is case study number 2. So now we will go into the news app, which was the final case study. For this one, I went ahead and used this one. So as you can see, we have a featured news story. This is what would show right off the bat. This would be for the main news story. Then you have an option for the breaking news stories, which would be a list. And here we would have a headline and a brief news description. This was supposed to use static data, so as you can see, everything is just hard-coded in. And then you're supposed to have a news image. I went ahead and just used some Manchester United player images to show that this would normally be a collection view, or a grid view, sorry, of all of the images for breaking news stories. And then, of course, we had to do a settings using a preference fragment to go ahead and select what you wanted to use. And yeah, and again, here's for the news. As you can see, based on what position you choose, that then determines whether it's going to show the settings, news, breaking, or featured. Here for the featured, everything is fairly simple because I just kind of hard-coded, again, everything into it. And this is what creates the information for the list view. News images, I have a bunch of images here in my drawable resource folder. And then it kind of puts them all into a grid view and a grid view adapter. And again, for the settings, I have it selected to where if you choose the no data, it'll go ahead and turn off your data. To use your cellular data, I should say. So those are my 3 different case studies, and of course, then the final one was the one that I already went over. Again, case study 1, 2, and 3, and then I have the action bar and the contextual action bar based on what you select. So that is it for my 4 projects for week 4 of Java 2. I hope everyone did well this week, and I'll see everyone in the next class.